It's Song Talk Radio.
Welcome to Song Talk Radio, and Happy New Year to all our listeners. This is the show with songwriters talking to other songwriters about the craft of songwriting. We share tips, tools, and techniques, and together we all become better at writing songs. Dialing in from our headquarters in Toronto, I'm Neil Modi, and with me my co-host, Phil Emery. Happy New Year, Phil. Welcome to 2026.
Happy New Year, Neil. And of course, I'm another year older and deeper in debt, just like we all are. So,
oh no,
that's all fun. And of course, who knows what the hell's going on with the world? It's just, the world's getting crazier by the minute, but I'm still happy to be here.
Yes, by the minute and by the year, of course. Yeah, I have no comments on that, just fully agreed. And for everyone else, please send your comments and questions to at Song Talk Radio on Facebook or Instagram, feedback at songtalk.ca for the email, and we'll share your thoughts on the show. And please visit songtalk.ca to see the show post for this episode, to find links to resources we mention, and to download lyric and chord sheets to follow along with the songs that we feature. Tonight, we're very happy to welcome singer-songwriter Alex Whorms back to the show. Happy New Year, Alex. How are you?
I'm great. Happy New Year, Neil.
Alex is kind of becoming like an unofficial co-host.
I'm very honored that you would say that.
I think part of the problem is you keep bloody releasing music all the time.
Yes.
And it's great. And I'm like, every time I hear something, I'm like, all right, come back on the show. It's fantastic.
You do a lot of stuff, and I think that's the important thing is with music, it is output and you have to perform a lot and you have to record a lot and you do a lot of stuff. It's very impressive.
Thank you. I do my best, and I often feel like it isn't enough, but I just do as much as I can.
How much more could you do?
Exactly.
I don't know.
It's certainly enough for us, because I think it was only like 3 months ago or something you were last on the show.
Yeah. I think it would have been September, October. You're right.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's my last EP.
All right. And before we get to Alex's new collaboration song, a couple of pre-show items we like to talk about. Phil, what the F is going on with Factor these days?
Right. So Factor...
The F is for Factor, by the way.
So Factor is the foundation to assess Canadian talent on records. It's basically a publicly funded funding organization that helps musicians basically record and release their music. They've been around for a long time.
You go to Factor to get a grant, basically.
Yes. Yeah. And, they can be quite small. They do complete full-out grants. They do sort of revenue sharing. They do a whole bunches of things. Even I got a Factor grant once. But despite that, they're still quite good. So here is something bizarre. This is the headline: $9.8 million stolen from Factor's bank account. Somehow. So
they didn't even have $9.8 million in their bank account.
Yeah. So they got I think they got like 13 million or something from the government into their bank account, and one person has access to their Scotiabank account. And somehow a third party got access to their bank account and transferred $9.8 million into a numbered bank account. $9.8 million into a different Scotia bank account belonging to a numbered company. And then that numbered company transferred that money to a cryptocurrency platform. So we know this is all on the up and up. And it was converted into cryptocurrency to pay overseas suppliers for crypto mining hardware. So that's kind of, this is crazy. So Quebec man named, what was that?
Oh, so
it took Factor how long to notice?
Was that this week? Was that recently?
Yeah, that was like a little while
ago, I think.
Okay, yeah. So no. This a very similar thing happened like a year and a half ago too. This is not the first time this has happened.
No.
Oh no.
So this is bizarre. So the The allegation is a Quebec man named James Pena, who owns the numbered company and arranged the hardware sale. He denies being behind the theft because people just, drop $9.8 million into your account. That happens all the time to me. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah.
So he says in court documents that the unknown user contacted someone affiliated with his company to order 2,800 crypto mining machines, and that he had no reason to question the order because people just order that amount all the time,
I have 3 in the queue right now, yeah.
And so Factor is now saying that Scotiabank should didn't do their due diligence because the other user was just like a random email account and wasn't like factor.ca account. And it's just a mess. We'll put a link to the article on CBC, but it's shouldn't this James Pena guy just return the money because he got the money?
Yeah,
it's so bizarre.
Sell all that crypto hardware and and the proceeds over. That's kind of goofy.
Yeah. Factor's saying that Scotiabank and Virgo CX, the cryptocurrency company, should return their remaining $9.4 million. I guess Scotiabank says that their stuff is covered. So
yeah. I guess the moral of the story is get your grant applications in now before their coffers are completely depleted.
Well, of course, now they have to look at it to make sure that Factor's cybersecurity was properly.
Yeah, that's the other
implemented
issue here, right?
So yeah,
look out.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
So,
all right. Yeah. I'll put a link to that in the show post. You can peruse it and out the guy on social media. Okay. All right. And in other news, the DAW, the digital audio workstation, I'm using Studio One, which was acquired. The company that made it is Presonus, and I've learned recently bought it off some other German company years and years ago. But Presonus had it for a long time. A few years ago, Fender bought it. Bought Presonus, but let Presonus alone, and they just did their thing. But the latest version of Studio One is no longer called Studio One. It's now called Fender Studio Pro. So Fender's released a new version of this program. It's basically what Studio One was before. But everyone on the internet, of course, is freaking out about the name because we called it Studio One for many, many years, and everyone knew it as Studio One. But now it's no longer Studio One. It's Fender Pro Studio 8. And it is version 8 because I guess back in the day, Studio One version 2 came out and everyone was like, Studio 1, 2? Oh, anyway. But I watched a video. They were going over a few of the features of this thing. And the one thing in particular, one new feature in particular sort of struck me as, wow, this is another instance, and this is not new, but this is another instance of technology perhaps affecting how songs actually develop and how songs actually get written. Because 2 new features that they implemented is we've always had a chord track where you could drag, a MIDI track or even an audio track up to the chord track, and it would analyze and display your chords for you. You can go in and fix the mistakes that it made and sort of, and make it all work and whatever. And then you could actually drag that chord track to a fresh instrument track, a MIDI track, and it would plot out some chords, like actually play the chords for you and that sort of thing, just make block chords. So it was a pretty handy feature. I've been using it. I've only been using Studio One for a few years now, but I've been using that chord track feature all the time. But the latest thing they introduced in is that if you right click or whatever, one of the chords, it will come up with a little suggestion box for you and suggest what the next chord would be. So now we're not moving in. We've gone from just analyzing and you doing everything manually to it now, using an AI or whatever it is, some kind of an algorithm to influence maybe what the next chord would be. So that's an interesting thing. Now, there are chord suggester apps out there. There are websites, there are apps on your phone, there are a whole bunch of resources available. We probably have some in our resources page on songtalk.ca where you can get chord suggestions. But now it's literally built into the DAW. Like it's right there while you're recording, while you're developing a song. The second thing they did, and this was the one that actually, when I heard about it, I was like, wow, I might actually use that. It's pretty cool. The metronome, which is traditionally just a click, 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 click. And you can change the sounds of the click or whatever. But now they've actually got drum loops inside the metronome. So you can right click on the metronome settings.
I like that.
And it has a whole bunch of categories: rock, folk, pop, metal, swing, big band, whatever, and any jazz, all these library of drum loops that will basically play along with the metronome. Now, again, was it possible for you to browse your loop library, drag a loop in, copy it, or just extend it over? Yes, it was possible before, but now it's so much easier, and you don't have to, pull it out to 2 minutes and then you realize your song's actually 3 minutes and you pull it out some more, or you run out of the loop while it's recording, while you're recording your other parts and that sort of thing. And that's just built in the metronome. It's always going to be there. But like as a drummer myself and as a producer, I'm very cognizant of how groove affects a song, right? So with all these pre-made loops that are super conventional, super ordinary, they're just run-of-the-mill standard loops, that's really gonna maybe prevent you from experimenting with some rhythmic, interesting things in your songwriting. Right? You may just because if you lay down that, if you start with that metronome, because here's the thing: even if you record a guitar part or record a piano part first to a standard click, you can put in swing, you can put in whatever you want to with all these rhythmic differences. And then you might find a drum loop in your loop library that sort of fits that groove, or make your own drum loop that fits that groove, but you've still written your own groove. But in here, because it's built into the metronome, super easy, and you always start with the metronome, right? That's always the starting point, no matter before you even start recording any other instrumental parts. You're already locked into a groove that maybe isn't what the song wants, maybe isn't what you wanted. You just sort of found it in the thing. So it's a different process. It's a different thing. And I just wonder about how because that's the thing with Suno and these other AI generated things, that they tend to generate the most middle of the line kind of ordinary, conventional things. Even though they got interesting ideas from time to time, it's still, it ain't going to be Bohemian Rhapsody. But so I begin to wonder about how all these tools, together. I mean, this is not new. I mean, back in the day when drum machines came out, they were like, everything's going to be so rigid and on the grid and everything. Yeah. Every time a new technology comes out, it does influence the way people create things. But it just struck me as, oh wow, these are two things that may really influence the chord thing as well. You may not go to that weird chord. You're just going to go to one of the conventional chords because it suggested it and it's easy to do.
Alex, do you ever use those kinds of tools? I mean, your theory is so strong, you probably don't need them, but.
Yeah, I mean, I typically don't, not because I have any strong feelings over, whether or not they're helpful. But I typically have an idea in my head already, and it's faster to directly create it myself than to try to find a loop that might be similar to the whatever I'm imagining already. So I typically do my own thing, but I what I want to say is, I'm sure one day I'll have no inspiration and I'll just try it. But I won't. Well, I mean, not to say I won't, but I haven't really dabbled with loops very much myself. But that's just because of my process being what it is.
Yeah, I've played around with actually pre-made loops. I did a lot of looping stuff when I was younger, with hip hoppy kind of things, and a lot of electronic stuff. But I'll usually take loops and then cut them up or chop them up or gate them in some kind of way. But I have played around with the chord suggesters, and And they're kind of fun. I mean, it's so easy as a musician to keep on doing the same chords you always do, which is why I always advise guitarists to have a guitar in a non-standard tuning, because it will force your brain into something that's new. So it's just another way of getting yourself to not do what you've always done. But I really like the idea of the metronome in a real groove, because sometimes that can help instead of just going.
Totally.
You know.
And what you said about it being built into the metronome, that makes me actually more interested in trying it, Neil, because that annoying thing about dragging and repeating loops is part of the reason I've found that pretty frustrating myself.
Yeah, and of course, me being a drummer, I'll often do that. I'll often record my idea on the piano to a click, right? And then I'll develop my own drum loop. Like I'll make my own little loop in MIDI that actually follows the groove of what I developed on the piano. So, but here, again, the metronome is always first, right? So if your metronome itself is a groove,
and I mean, and if you like it, if it feels right to you, like if there isn't a part of it where you're like, oh, because if it was wrong, you wouldn't use it, right? So I feel pretty optimistic.
I suppose,
you talk about it.
But like you say, like I've done this before too, where I try to find a loop that's reflective of something in my head. But the more I listen to all these different loops, I begin to forget what it was that was originally in my head, because I'm hearing this thing and it's overriding what I had in my head, because it's louder, it's actually audible as opposed to what's in my head.
And that's the worst. So I think the moral of the story is, if you know what you want, don't look for a loop. Look for a loop if you need inspiration. But if you have, because I guarantee, like, nothing you hear on the loop is going to make you feel as excited as whatever your original idea was, right?
Yeah, that's good advice. But again, my concern too is that these tools are now so close and so easy, and just, it used to be a couple of clicks away. You'd have to go to a chord suggester app on another website and then fiddle around and then come back, whatever. But here it's just literally built in, so easy.
Yeah. I'm not worried though. Like, because I think there are people who, for people who are really interested in making music with interesting, spicy chords, they're going to go and seek out that information and learn how to do it. Right. And not everybody, that's not important to everybody either. Like, there have always been some people who go to chord suggester apps and some people who don't. And I don't know. Will it reduce the amount of chord experimentation in music? Maybe, but I don't know. I think a lot of people like it enough to go and learn about,
or will it expand it?
Yeah.
I mean, it also might expand it, because people might actually be able to sort of choose chords they otherwise wouldn't have been able to, because they just would not.
Yeah. I mean,
have a theoretical background for it.
And like,
and to be fair, that little chord suggester thing comes up and it gives you like 6 different options. So it's not just the relative major minor or something like that. They've given you options for diminished and augmented and everything like that. So maybe it will expand. I just posed the question, and I don't have any of the answers, but would I ever use it? Maybe not. I still haven't upgraded from version 6, which works fine for me. So I'm not even running that program anyway, but
yeah. Well, it's, with all this stuff, you don't have to upgrade, because, hit records were made with, Cubase 6. You don't have to have the latest and greatest. In fact, I stopped upgrading. I just decided I'm going to learn what I have. I'm not buying any more plugins. I'm not going to buy any more stuff. Just use what I have, master what I have, and then, if I want something new, I'll buy it. Although, next time the sale comes up, ask me again. So I don't.
Next Black Friday. Did we talk about that in our last episode last year? All the stuff we bought on Black Friday.
Interesting days.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, okay, on to the main event. Alex Whorms crafts music that is a genre unto itself. The singer-songwriter and screen composer flawlessly blends indie, alternative, pop, jazz, and cinematic styles into a sound that is at once intimate, anthemic, and unforgettable. Growing up in Pickering, Ontario, she found early inspiration in fellow hometown artist Sarah Slean, the theatricality of Tori Amos, and the eccentric grit of Fiona Apple, shaping her distinct piano-driven style. But Whorms rarely sits at the piano. She's on her feet dancing as she plays with a voice that dares you to feel it all. Tonight we're going to be talking to Alex about a new song she collaborated on with Garrett LaJoy and Gavin McLeod called Let You Down. So before we play the song, Alex, can you give us the one-liner about how the collaboration worked between the three of you?
Absolutely. So this is a song off of Garrett LaJoy's EP Scary, which came out a few months ago. And Garrett and Gavin had written the first draft of the song, at which point they sent it to me, asking if I would be interested in singing it as a duet. And then on day 2 of writing, Garrett and I finished writing the song and recorded it.
Okay. So it wasn't finished when you got it, or just wasn't finished in your opinion?
Both.
Okay.
I'll say more. Should I say more after we've heard it? Or?
Yeah, let's take a listen to it, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more about the editing process.
Sure.
That's what we like to get on. Okay, so be sure to download lyric sheet on the show post at songtalk.ca, and you can follow along. Let's hit it, Phil.
Countdown, you're coming home. Let's find a place of our own. You're tired of taking it slow. 2 years, a few months shy. So far, we're doing all right. I follow wherever you go. I've been telling myself the hard part's over now. Then I talk myself out. Now the whole ship's going down. What if I down? What if our love burns out? What if I get in my head and I mess this up somehow?
Mismatched picture frames. Love that look on your face. Each detail of your particular taste. This bed might be small. 3 steps down the hall, that's okay. 'Cause it's our place, that's alright if it don't quite feel like home tonight. Don't you know everybody feels unsure sometimes? What if I let you down? What if our love burns out? What if I get in my head and I mess this up somehow? And what if we can't get by? What if I don't know why? What if it all goes wrong and it makes us change our minds? Lights fading, I'm shaking. Sometimes I just can't take it. Heartbroken, not knowing if I'm dumb enough to break it. But I know it, we're strong enough to make it. We'll hold on, be patient, stop saying. What if I let you down? What if our love burns out? What if I get in my head and I mess this up somehow? What if we get this right? What if it's you and I? What if we realize that we had it all this time? All this time. All this time. What if we realize that we had it all this time?
Very nice.
Very cool.
Thank you.
So what was the state of the song when those guys finished writing it?
Well, it was like musically, it was pretty much what you heard minus, we were able to trim, actually, assembling thoughts here. There is a solo version of that song out too, where Garrett kept the entire form, the longer form that he had initially heard, but that was kind of a cool thing about having two versions, was because sometimes we were just talking earlier about trends in songwriting, that this duet version is 3:42, which is still pretty long for a pop song in 2025 when this is released. So I really wanted to trim out some extra instrumental bars that I didn't think needed to be here, but he had this beautiful production he had already made and this big orchestral section. So he did get to keep that in the solo version, and then we kind of got the best of both worlds. So musically, we tightened it up, but most of the changes were lyrical. And I think I wasn't there on the first day of writing, but there's this wonderful opportunity when you are hearing a song for the first time where you haven't been sitting with it for hours and hours and hours, where that first impression of, I got that, I didn't understand that. And that's how editing lyrics often goes, right? So yes. My thing was when I heard the first draft, my impression was, I know what you're trying to say, but it's not quite there. And our second rewrite session was one of my favorite co-write sessions ever, because the song is all real memories. I knew, like, what I wanted it to sound like was, okay, verse 1, we're taking this next step in this relationship, chorus, but what if I let you down? Verse 2, well, everybody's a little bit unsure sometimes, but I really love all this stuff about you and I'm nervous, but I think we've got a good shot here. Verse 2, but what if I let you down? Bridge, I'm really, really anxious and I get so worried sometimes, and like, what if I completely mess it up? It's very possible I could be dumb enough to completely mess up this relationship. Third chorus, what if I let you down? But then the second half of the third chorus, what if I don't? And what if everything works out? And I think that really, I was asking, so I came in with this like proposed map for where the plot of the song could go, because I was getting the sense that that's what it wanted to be. And then I was asking Garrett, about the relationship that inspired the song. So I was just like, and what do they do about that? Like, what does she do? And like, what is she good at? And what is she like? And like, I was getting all this like sweet stories about the relationship. And so it was really fun to just like ask all these questions and then find ways to put all these real life details into the verses of the song. So I think we got something that was really sentimental and real. And then the story of it, we were not asking the listener to invent the story based on what the sound of the track and the sound of the singing was hinting, but we were also literally just telling them exactly what the song wanted to say, right? And in a first draft, like my first drafts never nail the meaning the way I want it either. So I think that's a pretty typical thing.
No,
so not to sound like I came in and I completely destroyed this.
Yeah.
But like that's
it does have a very sweet. It is kind of sentimental and sweet, but I like what I'm really curious about is, so their draft, or Garrett's first draft, didn't have two voices, and I know, and I don't mean just in terms of vocals and a second singer, but I mean the narrative, the way the lyric is now, the narrative itself has two voices. There's the doubter and the more optimistic voice, right? There are two characters in this, even though everything is I.
Well,
or us. Yeah.
it's interesting because we read through it after we were done editing, and we felt it did make sense if one person was saying all that, or if two people were saying it, because the way we wrote it, all of it was written from Garrett's perspective. You know, the line I liked the most was each detail of your particular taste, and like it was the girlfriend's taste. So like
okay.
so
Yeah.
it did make sense, at least to us, when we were looking at the real life inspiration, that it could have been one person saying all of that, especially Garrett's EP that this song appears on, explores a lot of everyday life scenarios, but with the accompanying anxieties that we all go through. So having that anxiety kind of come in and out of this song and all the other songs, like that was a big kind of theme throughout the EP as well. So this like back and forth, to us anyway, it really made sense.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder about, because and now that I look at it, like mismatched picture frame, look on your face. I really like that verse because it's about the messiness, right? It reminded me of that scene from Good Will Hunting where the Robin Williams character is talking to Will Hunting about how relationships are not perfect, but we decide who we let into our weird little worlds, right? Because you do have a particular taste. The bed might be small, but it's ours, right? It's messy, but it's us, right? So it's okay, kind of thing. But I think from it changing from him singing to you singing, it does feel like it's a different person.
It kind of
I wonder if it was one singer, would it still feel like a different person? I don't know.
No, like it changes the meaning of the song entirely. You're right, because in the duet version, you feel like you have one anxious singer in verse one, and then the second singer is the more reassuring, grounded person. Like it's cool how it seems to us to work in both scenarios, but it does not completely, but it does change the story significantly, for sure. I'm so geeking out about this stuff with songs. I love that personally.
Yeah. It's interesting.
What's nice is that there's a lot of songs are very much in one moment, and about sort of one emotional state, and it's just kind of all about that state. There's no real sort of change from the beginning of the state to the end of the state. It's not true of all songs, but many songs. And it's nice to actually have a song that actually has sort of a beginning, middle, and end to it, in sort of which isn't a country western story song. So I appreciated that.
Absolutely, yeah. I felt that, like, from the song, I really wanted it. I wanted us to have that happy ending. Like, it felt like like it wanted to be a full story. And Garrett's production, and I just want to make sure I give Garrett, unfortunately, he was not able to join us tonight, but this song is Garrett's baby. Like, his EP, Scary, is wonderful, and he wrote all the songs and produced everything and sang everything and recorded and mixed everything. Like, he put like that, the production and how clean and clear all those instrument sounds contributes to, that whole plot of the song. And he did some really incredible work on the song and the whole.
How did you shorten it up?
Oh, there were instrumental breaks like at the ends of choruses, and I think the big cut. So we cut out a lot of those where I felt like, okay, like I think one spot was at the end of chorus 1, we go straight into verse 2. Right, there's like 4 counts or something, and there was a really, really long interlude after the bridge before the chorus came back in, and that there were 2 really big reasons to get rid of it. One being it's already a long song as it is, but the biggest thing was that the lyric at the end of the bridge led right back into the chorus. It's like, we'll hold on, we'll be patient, we'll stop saying, what if I let you down, right? So that kind of change it, like having a gap in the middle of that sentence was, didn't feel right, obviously.
Right.
But if you listen to the solo version, it is beautiful. So you can still hear it if you want. But that was the biggest cut we made, which, and I think we may have, but those are the two that I remember after the choruses and that big chunk of the bridge.
So he has a solo version on his album?
He does, yeah.
With just him singing?
Yes.
And the duet version is also on his album?
Yeah, I think what he did was he released his EP and then he released the duet version of Let You Down as a single after.
As a single, okay.
Yeah, so if you go to Garrett Lajoie's Spotify and you go to the EP Scary, you'll see the Let You Down with no specific, just the original Let You Down is in that EP. Right. And then the newer release is Let You Down duet version with me.
Okay.
We had a guest on, and I can't remember their name, but they specialize in getting people's music into sync. And one of the things that he was saying is that when you do a song, and while you're mixing, have a full-length version, have a shortened version, and have different versions. Like one that's just a verse and a chorus, and one is, like really long, and one maybe that's just mostly instrumental except for the chorus, and those kinds of alternatives, because it's easy to do those variations, but it can be really handy for music supervisors who say, I like this song, but we need, 2 minutes of music. And that's a great way of getting your stuff in. And it's easy to do with digital. It was much harder to do back in the days of tape, as we were talking about
tape
before the show.
yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
No, well, I mean, I certainly hope we get some sync action with this song or any others. That would be really cool. So if you remember the name of that guest, put me in.
It was Chris SD.
Chris SD, yeah. I think he has actually a pretty good course about this. And,
it's called Sync Songwriter. Actually, he's running it. He's running some kind of a thing this month. It's a webinar or it's a registration for the course or something like that. They're running a special thing this January.
Actually, you should. I'll link to that in the show notes. It's a really good. It was a really good episode. I mean, this is a great episode as well. But he was not stingy on the content that he shared. Like he gave it. He put it on the table, all on the table. He wasn't holding anything back. So it's a really great episode to listen to, and it's as accurate now as and it was.
Yeah, for sure. And you're absolutely right, Phil. This song is kind of ripe for that. Like, it's so good. I could see this in a scene, in credits, whatever. Like, probably not in credits, but it's not. To be honest, it's not actually resolved. Like because everything ends with a what if.
Yeah, it kind of ends off on like, well, we have to accept this uncertainty because things could go badly, but they also could go great. And, regardless, it's worth trying, right? So, yeah, I could see it. There are certain, like a falling in love montage in a rom-com or some kind of a romantic dance scene, maybe I could see. That could be interesting. Hey, I'm not a music supervisor.
Or maybe a new take on like a zombie movie. Who knows? I mean,
who knows? Who knows?
It's all about the imagination,
Yeah, well, in most zombie movies, there's always a romantic subplot, right? So, what if I eat your brains?
That's very good, actually.
I could do the remix there. I'm here in the band. I think that's all the time we have on Song Talk Radio. Special thanks to Alex Whorms and Garrett and all the collaborators and collaboration in general. Thank you to collaboration. It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you to collaboration itself.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. It's a good thing. A good thing. And of course, where can our listeners find out more about you, Alex, and hear more of your music?
Absolutely. My name is spelled Alex, Whorms, and you can look me up on alexwhorms.com or any social media or streaming platform.
And what about Garrett? You want to give his socials a shout out
I
there?
would love to do that. Garrett Lajoie. It's Garrett with 2 R's, 2 T's, and his last name is Lajoie. And same thing, find Garrett on streaming and social media. We're both releasing plenty of our own music in addition to that duet that you just heard.
Awesome. That sounds great. We'll definitely link to all that on the show post for this episode. And we want to hear from you too. So please send your comments on Facebook or Instagram to @SongTalkRadio, or send us an email, feedback@songtalk.ca. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel for live performance videos and full episodes. And subscribe today to the Song Talk Radio podcast on your favorite podcast provider. And please support us at our Patreon page. You can visit songtalk.ca/support. Thank you to everyone who has supported us so far. You can find links to all the products, books, and web services we mentioned on the show on our resources page that's on the website. And please join us at our next monthly Song Talk meetup. Whether you're in Toronto for our in-person meetups or anywhere in the world for our online meetups, it's free to join on Eventbrite and free to attend. Bring a song and a lyric sheet and get constructive feedback from other songwriters. Stop by songtalk.ca for the link. You can follow me at neilmodi.com. You can follow Phil.
PhilEmery.ca.
And Alex, what's your favorite social media channel? Where do you post the most?
Instagram.
Please follow Alex on Instagram. And be sure to stop by the website, songtalk.ca, to browse past shows and find out how you can be a guest. Thanks for tuning in, and keep on writing.
Happy New Year, everyone. All right.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so
Good
much,
stuff.
guys. It's always fun talking to you. It's a good time every single time.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You're never gonna release a song yourself then?
Let you down?
Yeah.
I didn't have any plans to. It was really more of Garrett's song. Like, this is
Yeah. I get
you
it.
know, like, I think it's more, I was like the co-writer writing to try to write in his style, was how I think of this song. I'm like, if that makes sense. It was really more about capturing like that moment in his life, which was, it just felt cool to just be able to help with that a little.
Yeah. Cool. It kind of remind back in the day, I think it was early 2000s, Crowded House released a song called "The Silent House." I think it was called "The Silent House," and it was a song about a parent or an elderly figure who passed away, and they were reflecting on all the stuff that was left over in the house. A beautiful ballad. And then I realized sometime later that it was a co-write. Neil Finn wrote it with the Dixie Chicks. Because the Dixie Chicks had their own version of the song on one of their albums, and it's exactly the same song. It's just, one's a a crowded house indie rock song or pop rock song, and one's a country version of it.
I'm gonna check that out.
Neil Finn is amazing. He is such a powerhouse of a songwriter. Like the stuff they did from Split Ends when he was 17, I think, when he joined. And then, Crowded House, and man, they were like a trio, and they just sounded amazing. I saw them live.
I saw them live. Unfortunately, after Paul Hester, the drummer, had passed away, and they got a new drummer. And
I saw them during their heyday. I was very lucky. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, really good.
I'm looking forward to checking out that song and more of Neil Finn, because I have never heard of him before. But
you never heard of Crowded House?
The feeling I'm gonna really enjoy it based on what you just said.
You will love Crowded House. They are so good.
All right,
check out their first album. Is super amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a big fan of their mid '80s. I forget what it's called now. Not Woodface, the one after that. Temple of Low Men.
Oh yeah.
Something. Yeah, fantastic. Because that was my first. I remember borrowing the vinyl from the library and be like, wow.
Yeah. Vinyl at the library.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hit the library all the time for vinyl.
Why Why don't they still have vinyl at the library?
I'm sure they're going to bring it back.
Yeah, they should.
I think they do.
Yeah.
Maybe not at the Hamilton Library. That I've seen.
Maybe not. I know they have it in Toronto Reference Library. They have a whole floor full of records that you can go and listen to, and super rare recordings. It's really cool, actually.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
Reference
if I go
library, you
to the-
can't often borrow stuff, though.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
you
'cause
can't
it's
take it
rare
out.
and-
You can't take it out.
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
can actually listen to it there. Don't know if you can. You probably can't record it, but you know, they actually have like record players. You sit down and put on headphones.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Wow.
Bring in your own little digital recorder.
Yeah.
Plug it in. Go.
Well, we used to do mixtapes off the radio. You know,
Yeah.
you'd have you'd wait until your favorite song came on. So
Recording off radio, recording from vinyl, recording from CDs.
yeah,
Because we didn't have portable CD players. Time.
had to make
You
our
had to
own
dump it on
butter.
the
It was
tape.
tough.
Your own butter. Churn your own butter.
Had to feed the hogs and water them.
You had to lay our
Feed the
own
weeds
eggs.
and pull out the hogs, or I don't know. I was never very good at that.
That sounds like the
Oh.
beginning of a song right there.
Yeah.
Feed the hogs. Or I was never very good at that.
Yeah.
I was a
Well,
bad
you
farm
just-
hand.
No. All right. That's our next songwriting challenge right there.
Yeah.
Well, we've never actually done a humorous song.
Yeah, that's true.
mean,
Write a funny
Funny
song.
songs are great. I think you know what?
They're harder to do than you think.
I bet they are. Well, it's interesting because so the next song, my next single is coming out in February, and it started out as a really angry, cathartic song, but I now think of it as a funny song.
Oh, no.
But it's kind of like it's more of like a self-deprecating humor. But I think it's interesting. I don't know if anyone else. I have no idea what other people will think. The music video is very funny, so now I think about it as a funny, or at least everyone I've shown it to so far thought it was funny, and that's what I was going for. So
Cool.
no pressure to laugh at it when it comes out. But oh no, you know the song. You heard me play it at that songwriting. It's called Paranoid. I don't know if you would remember it, Neil, but I remember at the Kensington
the
Songwriters
Kensington
Round.
thing.
You were asking me about it because it
Was
wasn't
that the one that was a little bit more rock?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
we
I
went
did- I remember
full
liking
on,
that
like,
one.
pop punk with it.
Yeah.
So it really came from a very angry, frustrated place, but I think of it of like FML, ha ha ha, is kind of how I think about it now. But it's still not a humorous song. But I think we should all laugh more, and I think I'm becoming a lot more like I'm less perfect. Like I'm more open, like just in my own personal kind of growing up journey and letting go of like, oh, everything needs to be serious and perfect. I think funny songs are great, and there should be more of them. That would be a good episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know if we've done anything on fun, humorous songs.
No, we've had a few songwriters over the years. Do we have a comedy songwriter at one point? I feel like we did one.
Well, we
like way
had
back
that
in
one
the
guy
day.
who used to come to the meetup all the time. Played the ukulele. I mean, this was, back at, I think, the Central.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, don't quite remember. Yeah, but yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Weird Al, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Or Neil Finn, for that matter.
Oh, God, yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, then.
I will
Give you
I'll get to editing this on the weekend and, of course, send it out as per normal.
we'll give you a heads up, Alex, when it's published, and you can share it with your peeps. Share it with Garrett.
Absolutely. Yeah. He said to say hi. We were on a radio show on Tuesday reviewing opera of all things.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Okay.
So, I just whacked my microphone, but
Nope.
yeah, no, maybe at some point you'll meet him for real.
would be
He's a
great.
really
Yeah,
nice guy.
we'd be happy to have him on the show anytime. Like, that'd be cool.
Oh, I'm sure he'd love to. Just not that song for obvious reasons.
It'll be a
Fair
different
enough.
one.
Yeah.
Sure. Like you said, I'm looking forward to checking out his EP. Actually, it should be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me
All right.
again. And
Yeah,
Great to see
thanks
you.
for coming on.
All right.
looking forward to the next time, as always.
Yes, as always.
Take
Have a
care.
good
All right,
night.
have a good one, Alex.
Bye.
See ya.